Sing it, shout it, play it, dance it, paint it, say it, choreographed or off the cuff, orchestrated works of art,
solo endeavors.
we'll write and dance and sing to spread the word.
Welcome to Northumberland Festival of the Arts. My name is Ronald Mackay. In this series, Northumberland Art Lovers, we talk with people who love the arts, artists, leaders of arts groups and organizations, civic leaders, and others. Today, I have the privilege of talking personally with Felicity Sidnell, Gwynn Scheltema, and Chris Cameron, the hosts of Word on the Hills 89.7 FM. In their weekly radio program, which I thoroughly enjoy, these three co-hosts feature Northumberland and regional writers. To begin, can you give our listeners the briefest of histories of the origins of the radio program that you host? Felicity, could you begin, please?
Well, the first we heard about the new station and the possibility of making a program was in 2012. And at that time, a group of people were putting together their ideas for opening a radio station. So I went to a meeting and they were interested in having people put forward a pitch for a program. So I suggested to Gwynn that she joined me in putting forward a plan for a series of 12 programs.
Yes. Well, Gwynn, would you like to
we
take?
We are still going now.
You certainly are.
I'm not even sure how many programs we've actually recorded, but hundreds.
Well, congratulations. Gwynn, would you like to take over from there?
Yes, so when we first went in to do our first program, we were thoroughly new to the whole process, and we were very lucky to have a very switched on young man who did the recording and the editing for us. And that lasted probably about 3 or 4 programs. And then I believe he was on some sort of student program or something like that, and his term came to an end, and we arrived for was probably our 5th program, to find there was no technician at all. And so we had a choice. We either threw in the towel or we got stuck in. So we turned to the station manager and said, okay, give us a 101 in the next 10 minutes and we'll take it from there. So he did. He showed us all the funny little buttons you have to push and so on to actually record the program in the studio. And then afterwards, he told me which software program to download, and we just sort of learned it on the job. You know, Google is your friend. How do you do this and how do you do that?
Yes. Well done, both of you, from concept right through to hands-on practice. You've done it completely from the beginning together. That's wonderful. I'm going to ask this question to Chris. Chris, why are making and broadcasting these programs important to you, the newest and youngest, I think, member of the team?
I don't know whether I could claim to be the youngest. I'm sure that we're all about the same age in this group, Ron. But I'll take the compliment for sure. Thank you. I get a lot of pleasure out of making these shows. All my life, I had a dream of being an on-air personality. I think I've said that before.
Yes.
No secret. And that dream has come true. But it's funny because the surprise to me was how much fun I have also being that man behind the curtain as the sound editor for Word on the Hills. After the actual interview session is over, I get to take the recordings and edit them so that everyone can sound their best and so that we have a show that people will enjoy listening to. And I have to say that sound editing wasn't a skill I had to start with. When Gwynn passed the torch to me 3 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm sure that the same with her 3 years or 6 years before that. But I've enjoyed refining the technique over the last 3 years.
Yes.
I love learning and trying new things. And this one's been a real winner.
Well, you are obviously a real winner as well. What is it that you get out of the program, making the program, Gwynn?
Well, for me, I'm a writer, amongst other things, and writing is a solitary and sometimes a lonely occupation.
It is.
And it's difficult to find out who the other writers are in the region and to, you know, talk with them and so on. We do have groups where we get together. And in fact, this whole idea rose out of that. But what I like about the ongoing program is that I'm always awed at the number of writers we have in our region, and not just writers, anybody to do with the world of words, publishers, poets, editors, the whole lot. And we never run out of people to interview. And that is very pleasing to me that, you know, we have such a strong base here and that I get to meet them and get the word out to everybody else, because otherwise, how do we find out about writers and people who are not in the public eye?
Well, how do you find out about these writers? Felicity, how do you go about finding those people to interview?
Well, sometimes, you know, we pick up people from newspaper articles because they've got a little article about their launch or something of that sort. We keep an eye on what's published, and we find out from booksellers in our area, for instance, who are very good about publishing, who are very good about selling local authors. So I love that, finding new people, and that's, you know, it's a whole procession of new talented people that you meet in the course of this. We've met so many interesting writers and other people involved with publishing and editing and so on. And I love all the conversations we have.
Well, I'm sure you add to their careers as well, greatly. Chris, what do you think that the unique contribution that radio can make to the community might be?
That's a wonderful question, Ron. I'm glad you asked that one. To me, one of the things that's special about our community-based radio is the chance to connect with local people on a local level. So what we do is more like a conversation over the back fence than a slick piece of journalism, or I'd say a conversation in Tim Hortons, if you like. So don't get me wrong, we need the CBC to bring the world to us and to tie our whole country together. But at Word on the Hills, we can chat with so many local authors, and they might not otherwise have had a chance to talk about their work on the air, because this may be a revelation, but sadly, not every talented writer is a best-selling superstar. Now, I have to say that some of us are still hoping to get that telephone call from Eleanor Wachtel, but on Word on the Hills, all our guests are stars. They have a 24-minute radio show all about themselves and their work, and it's all about them. And this is valuable in so many ways. It not only, as you mentioned a second ago, advancing careers and sales and knowledge of their books, but just in increasing the overall confidence of every single writer in Northumberland County. I think that that's one value that local radio has. I like to think of it as a sort of a shop local service for the literary scene around here.
Well, I like that idea of building the confidence of artists, because in fact, I've had the pleasure of being interviewed on Word on the Hills. And I can tell you that the very first time it built my confidence enormously. It's very difficult to know when one becomes a writer, but I think maybe when you're interviewed for Word on the Hills, you become a writer. But that maybe allows us to ask Felicity or Gwynn, is Northumberland County unusual? Is there an unusual number of writers and publishers and those associated with the Word in and around Coburg?
Well, I don't know if we can answer that definitively. I know we were certainly surprised when we started this program. We thought we only had enough for 12 series program, and here we are 8 years later. So I suspect that many areas of the country are just the same, but there's not necessarily anybody finding all those gems and sparkling them up.
So you're the catalyst who allows these people to ferment and to bring their flavor to the public.
Hopefully.
The other thing is that we've been able to extend our reach somewhat too. So we have many interviews with writers from surrounding counties.
Yes.
Who also contribute a great deal to it.
Well, it's to
program.
everybody's advantage that you have extended. Let me ask you a different question. What is it, or what do you think it is, that arts festivals like the Northumberland Festival of the Arts contributes to our lives and to our community? Gwynn, would you like to comment?
Yes, very definitely. I'm a great believer in this festival. And I think it arises from the fact that I know Northumberland has talented artists of all kinds, all different genres, all over the county. But
Yes.
traditionally, most performance-based things happen along the 401 corridor. And this festival's big mandate is to say, no, Northumberland is a lot bigger than that. Let's expand and let's uncover artists from all over the county. So we have a huge geographical area that we cover, but that has also given us a bigger pool of artists and talent to draw from. And what's been really lovely to see is that there's been a lot of partnering, collaboration, sharing of resources, so that all these artists that were doing wonderful things in limited silos, if you were, are
Yes.
now having an opportunity to come together and create a big thing where we can all rise on the same tide, and where we can maybe put Northumberland on the map as a cultural place to come, and slowly bring in people from all around to see what Northumberland has to offer. And then I think just having art in our lives in any community is an enriching experience, especially coming out of a pandemic. And I think we're ready for a nice festival this September. You know, to just get out there and enjoy ourselves and participate and get creative.
So you're continuing your search for those who create and indulge in the arts away from the highways and into the byways. And you're turning Northumberland into an arts metropolis. Is that the goal?
That's the ultimate goal. I don't know if we'll achieve that this year, but certainly we will build on that going forward.
Well, certainly all the publicity that I see on all the different media for the Festival of the Northumberland Festival of the Arts 2022 would suggest that you're definitely on the right track. Thank all three of you, Felicity, Gwynn, and Chris. I have been an admirer of Word on the Hills for many years, since I came to know about it, which is probably 6 or 7 years ago. Thank you very much for this interview.
We'll write, paint, dance, and sing to spread the word. Sing it,
Shout it,
play it, dance it,
paint it,
say it, choreographed or off the cuff. Orchestrated works of art.
solo endeavors.
We'll write, paint, dance, and sing to spread the word. We'll write, paint, dance, and sing to spread the word.